Dune Crusher makes a bouncing leap off the back of the heavy Speed Blaster. And a big hit from the GT sends the Park Ranger trucks flying upside down. The faster speeds allow Shadowjet to get under both vehicles, but both of them make spectacular recoveries. Jet Threat splits both vehicles on either side of the track. Its teammate lives. Shadowjet does not. The Alabaster Aces are back and they are facing some fierce competition in this, the last main event before the finals. 3 teams will move on from this event. Hi everybody, I'm Aaron Yonda and welcome to Junkyard Joust, a miniature action sports spectacle. Here are the teams. Most of these teams we've seen before in different iterations. NASCAR Pwn is brand new, as well as the Super Crashers and Brick House. Let's take a closer look at who's competing today. The Turtles are back. They made it to 8th place in the finals last season. They're back to do it again with a slightly different lineup. Joust and Jalopies is a team of heavy-set cars that are tough to get off the track. Sponsored by Beak's Busted Barn Finds, it's NASCAR Pwn, an all-around pretty solid team. Propulsion is a flashy team. They've got some good variety and they're ready to go all the way. Bat Mobility has had mixed results throughout the seasons, but they're back to try it again with a slightly more consistent team. Sponsored by Chicken Rings Onion Wings, it's Brick House, a team of retro nasty boys. Copperheads are looking pretty solid this year with some good survivability and variety. Super Crashers are a brightly colored team of all Matchbox vehicles. Sweet and Low like to keep it close to the track and they are tough to eliminate. Alabaster Aces used their one replacement to get rid of the Mustang Funny Car and replace it with RD10. They placed 3rd in the finals and they're gunning for 1st if they can get out of this main event. The crew of the Enterprise have been dealing with an invasion of Klingons recently. They don't seem too aggressive.
What are you suggesting?
Or at least not much more aggressive than normal Klingons. Seems like they're just hanging out right now, but they still look kind of menacing. Maybe they're just digesting their food.
I don't believe it.
Ugh. Round 1, we're going to start off with the Alabaster Aces and Dune Crusher. Dune Crusher, a ace in the hole for this team. Often just gets booted right off the track. Almost booted itself off the track this time. 73 Cadillac Coupe for Sweet and Low, sponsored by Hey Hey's Hatchback Hanger. 68 gram car knocks Dune Crusher off, but wow, look at a great recovery by Dune Crusher, just skidding all over the place and never even flipping over. That's what you want to see. Number 21 for NASCAR Pwn, sponsored by Sloss Automotive Sachet and Buffet. 21 slams into the Cadillac, but the Cadillac ain't moving, and 21 bounces back a bit. Joust and Jalopy is sending down the 75 Cadillac Eldorado, sponsored by Sean and Patrick Hogan. A lot of big, low cars here for the Joust and Jalopies and Sweet and Low. They can even get a little bit confusing. I think we're going to see a big line of cars form. Purple Passion Woody for the Copperhead, sponsored by Sloss Automotive Sachet and Buffet. There's not really any ramps in this match and not a whole lot of undercutters, so this is just going to be a bash them out situation. MBK Van, sponsored by Wolfo Fiber Art. MBK Van surges into the line and ends up curbside. That could be trouble right there. Might have our first elimination coming up here. Will it be provided by Turtle Shell for Turtle Power, sponsored by Sicken. Turtle Shell cannot get MBK Van off the track. It bounces back. It's definitely looking like it's in trouble. Wild Thing packs a punch for Propulsion, sponsored by Judy Collins. Wild Thing powers through and MBK Van topples over upside down. Turtle Shell escaping neatly off the track to safety. There's been some question about this Turtle Shell being as good as the previous one that Turtle Power had on their team. We'll see what happens. Lamborghini Marzal, sponsored by Scarsloss for the Super Crashers. Lamborghini pops off the back of Wild Thing, almost serving as a ramp. Maybe I spoke too soon, but the Marzal is able to tumble around and bring it to control right side up. And I guess there is a little bit of undercutting. Lickety Six for Brick House, sponsored by Chicken Rings Onion Wings. Lickety Six gets under Wild Thing, and it's curtains for Wild Thing, flipped upside down by that undercutting action. Then Lickety Six stops dead on the back of the Woody. Elimination number 2. We're back around the roster to the Aces 17 Ford GT, sponsored by Chrome Turtles Mini Painting. GT had a good run in the finals, a surprising run. Goes under Lickety 6 here a little bit, but doesn't cause any damage. Another low heavy car for Sweet and Low, 63 Chevy Impala, sponsored by Chone. The heaviness of that Impala forces Lickety 6 underneath the Woody, but also forces Lickety 6 off the track. The Woody's in danger. Lickety 6 is probably all right. Number 99, sponsored by Chone. Number 99 boosts the line forward. GT goes under the Eldorado. Woody flips over to a survival, and Lickety 6 looks safe. Here comes another Cadillac for the Jalopy, sponsored by Stump's Tree Farm. Cadillac doesn't hit the line too hard and saves his teammate from destruction. Eldorado manages to almost get off the track to safety, as well as the GT. Semi-Psycho for the Copperhead, sponsored by the Miskatonic Automotive Club. Oh, and I spoke way too soon. The Eldorado, not off to safety, gets just enough force to topple it over and upside down. Oof, that's gonna be the third elimination in the round. Robin for Batmobility, sponsored by TJG. Robin tests the tautness of that line, and it is tight. Michelangelo's up next, sponsored by Hey Hey's Hatchback Hanger. Michelangelo gets underneath Robin, but Robin's got the moves, flips over and lands it no problem. Michelangelo, a little bit of undercutting going on with that vehicle. Tail Dragger for Propulsion, sponsored by the Miskatonic Automotive Club. Tail Dragger pushes Michelangelo forward, but ends up off the track, pushed out by Semi-Psycho. Semi-Psycho looking a little precarious. Chevy Corvette for the Super Crashers, sponsored by Dr. Gonzo. Corvette goes off the back of Tail Dragger, knocks Semi-Psycho almost sideways, and Michelangelo is definitely sideways and down. That's a big loss for the Turtles, and that is not a stable situation for the Corvette. Rockbuster for the house, sponsored by Chicken Rings Onion Wings. Tail Dragger is not moving with that low rear end. Rockbuster forced up on the back of Tail Dragger. Corvette makes a recovery, as does Semi-Psycho. And we got as solid a line as you'll see in Junkyard Joust on the track right now. Maybe Shadow Jet can start to break it up a little bit, sponsored by Bentley's Brakes and Bumpers. Shadow Jet annihilates Rockbuster, just boots Troy and Rockbuster upside down. Shadow Jet wanting to get under Tail Dragger. We'll see if this 85 Chevy Caprice has the force to do it, sponsored by Farty Marty. Chevy Caprice cannot do it, knocks Shadow Jet off, and man, that looks to me a lot like it's beyond the 45-degree angle. Shadow Jet stays like that. That's a huge loss for Alabaster. Number 55, sponsored by the Miskatonic Automotive Club. 55 takes out the Caprice. A Klingon falls down. Maybe he was trying to take cover, actually, in case that car came over there. Hopefully the Klingons learned their lesson in the previous main event. 55 slots in. Klingon's taking a nap. 73 Cadillac Sedan DeVille for the Jalopy, sponsored by Jason's Bits Boys. Wow, what a slam, and 55 gets tossed around by that heavy car. Sweet and Low has the black coupe version of this car on their team. Those cars very similar. Zodic's up now for the Copperhead, sponsored by Sicken. Nowhere to go but backwards. Zodic pounds into the sedan, can't get anywhere, and that line is getting back pretty far right now. Slightly heavier version of the Batmobile for Batmobility this year, sponsored by Tim the Bear Neal. Batmobile takes down Zodic, pushes it over the top of the sedan, and Zodic bounces and flounces, cannot land it. Elimination. Donatello for Turtle Power, sponsored by Emo Dingo. Donatello knocks the Batmobile around like it's nothing. Batmobile flipping upside down and not even trying to make a recovery. One of these days, Batmobility is going to come up with a team that is impressive, but they haven't done it yet. Gangster Grin for Propulsion, sponsored by Ellie's Hop Shop. Gangster Grin hits the line. It is solid. Batmobile slides off. Could that Gangster Grin back serve as a ramp? Gruesome Twosome for the Super Crashers, going to test it out, sponsored by DYW Production Labs. Gruesome Twosome annihilates Gangster Grin, gets right under, throws it up in the air. Gangster Grin looks like it's going to recover, but then drives off the edge, sideways, eliminated. And Donatello is safe for the moment, but looks a little angry about being pushed off the track like that. Here comes the big one, biggest vehicle on the track today, Greyhound MC 801 grams, sponsored by Chicken Rings Onion Wings. Wow, even the Greyhound cannot break this line. It manages to knock the gruesome twosome off the track and upside down, but now it's curbside. Formula Special for the Aces, sponsored by Eldergrown. Ooh, Formula Special almost gets the Greyhound off the track. Not quite enough impetus to do it. Greyhound slots in now, much safer position to be in for that bus. 64 Chevy Impala, sponsored by TJG. Impala hits the line, and finally a car breaks. The sedan mounts tail dragger, and that Impala goes curbside. I think we're going to see some fun on this next hit. It's going to be number 3, sponsored by Chorgoth, the Infinite Horror. Number 3 tosses the Impala all over the place. Low car, tough to get off the track, but not this time. Number 3 having a field day with that thing, and that's definitely an elimination right there. 60 Chrysler 300F, sponsored by Hendrika's Heavy Hauling. The Chrysler knocks number 3 off the track, almost halfway. Can't quite finish it off. The sedan has pretty much made it to safety up farther. Custom dragster now for the Copperhead, sponsored by Brendan Walsh. The dragster just bounces off the back of that Chrysler. Wow, just immediately flipping over upside down. Could it still recover from this position? Oh yeah. Batman Hot Rod, sponsored by Jedi. Hot Rod hits the dragster, and what did I tell you? The dragster flips around and makes an obscenely awesome recovery, and the Batman Hot Rod takes its place upside down on the side. Another fail for Batmobility. But what a recovery by that dragster. Leonardo for Turtle Power, sponsored by Judy Collins. Leonardo strikes and bounces off the track, not even attempting to do any damage, just trying to escape and survive another round. Here comes another Impala. This one's for propulsion, sponsored by Chorgoth. The Impala just annihilates Leonardo. Leonardo gets flipped around, turns sideways, and another elimination for Turtle Power. They are being slightly devastated in this round. BMW 3.0 CSL for Super Crashers, sponsored by Chone. BMW takes a shot at the Impala, and the Impala lands it. Nice landing there up on Formula Special. Not perfectly safe, but pretty good recovery for the moment. Potential undercutter here, Spider-Man, sponsored by Chicken Wings, Onion Wings. No undercutting there. BMW gets forced up on top of that Chrysler, though, in a position that often ends in doom. Here comes the rookie for the Aces, RD10, sponsored by Judy Collins. RD10 slams into the line. The BMW makes a spectacular flip over and a recovery on the grass. Spider-Man is sideways. On the track, though, still. Good chance of recovery right there. 87 Chevy Caprice, sponsored by Sicken. The Caprice knocks RD and Spider-Man off the track, but both of them recover. No eliminations on that hit, and the line is still incredibly solid. We're running out of room on the track, and there's still 8 cars to come down. Number 1's coming down next for NASCAR Pone. If the cars get backed up much farther, they're going to be going up the hill. And the line buckles a little bit. That Caprice getting underneath the 300F. 57 Ford Fairlane, sponsored by Chris and Kat's Casa de Chaos. The Fairlane finishes off the 300F. Chrysler could have a chance of getting flipped over, but it doesn't look good. And now that Caprice is up in the air under number 1. Chevy 1500, sponsored by Emo Dingo. Chevy hits the line, not enough force to do a whole lot. Caprice manages to stay on top of 1. 66 Dodge A100, sponsored by Hasty Productions. Solid hit, and the Caprice tumbles, does not do the fried egg, flips himself all the way over, and makes us survive. Raphael, sponsored by Liz's Wizard Arts and Witchcrafts. Raphael knocks the Chevy out of the line. The Chevy makes a twisting recovery, lands on top of Spider-Man. Good recovery there for that vehicle. And the line's getting backed up the hill right now. I don't think this has happened for a long time. Purple Passion, sponsored by Dr. Gonzo. Purple Passion cannot get anywhere. The line is solid. We're really backing up now. This is crazy. 2 cars left in the round. Alpha Carabo, sponsored by Judy Collins. Ooh, the Carabo careens off the back of Purple Passion from Propulsion, hits the ground on the front of the car and flops over dead. Elimination right there. Things are getting perilous with these cars being backed up. Final car of the round, it's Baby Cookie in Iced Tea, sponsored by Chicken Rings Onion Wings.
I ain't no Pillsbury Doughboy.
Purple Passion turned into a ramp by the nature of the hill, and Iced Tea flips over upside down, Cookie tumbling along after. An elimination for Brick House. Looking at the wreckage on the field, 17 vehicles eliminated, same as the last main event. No teams eliminated. We got one close call with Shadow Jet from way earlier in the match, and wow, Alabaster barely avoiding a catastrophe there. 45 degrees, just about on the nose. And looking at the aftermath, that'll give Alabaster Aces the edge right here. No eliminations on the round. Copperheads and NASCAR Pone each only lost one. Turtle Power and Sweet and Low lost 2 apiece. Propulsion, Brick House, Joust and Jalopies, and Super Crashers each lost 2 apiece. Pretty even round for them. Bat Mobility, of course, sustained the heaviest losses, 3, taking them down to 2. A solid start for Alabaster as we head into round 2, starting off with Dune Crusher, as they traditionally do. This time, Dune Crusher makes that classic move, getting off the track completely, staying right side up. If you've got a car that can do it, it's a great addition to the team. Semi-Psycho going down first for the Copperheads. Nice thing for the Alabaster Aces, having 5 cars left means they get to start out the round, and then they always get to start off with Dune Crusher, so that's going to give them an advantage, potentially for a big chunk of the match. Number 1 starting off for NASCAR Pone. Slots in behind Semi-Psycho. I get a distinct feeling we're going to see a line of cars develop here that's going to go far back yet again. Cadillac Coupe DeVille for Sweet and Low. The Coupe's just going to add 1 to the line. Lickety Six might be able to stir things up a little bit. Lickety Six gets under the Coupe DeVille. Can't get it off the track, but that is definitely a nice hit. Good position, although Lickety Six is in trouble right here for sure. Big hit coming from the Cadillac Sedan DeVille for the Jalopies. And the Sedan takes out the Coupe. The car that looks really similar to it just tosses it right off the track. Lickety Six makes a lickety split recovery, but the Sedan has taken out the Coupe. Hopefully it'll be a little easier to keep track of who's who. Turtle Shell. Turtle Shell leaps off the back of the Sedan and makes a nice bouncing, spinning recovery. No flipping over there. Never really in any danger. Nice job there. Lamborghini Marzal. Lamborghini also goes off the back of the Coupe, pushes it up on number 1, but then drives over it, flips upside down. No recovery this time. Line of cars is not growing as much as I thought it was gonna. Tail Dragger. Tail Dragger pushes into the line, gets number 1 underneath Semi-Psycho, and the Sedan's feeling the heat. 66 Dodge for Bat Mobility. The Dodge loses control and spins off the track after hitting Tail Dragger, but manages to barely stay alive. Sedan makes an escape, and Semi-Psycho is precarious. RD10. RD bounces hard off Tail Dragger. Semi-Psycho gets pushed off and is definitely in trouble. That might be beyond 45 degrees. RD10 is curbside. Purple Passion Woody. Little holiday design on this car. Happy holidays, everybody. The Woody piles into RD10, and RD10 showing some good skill right there. Staying alive, not flipping over, backing into the tires right side up. Semi-Psycho sliding down into a slightly better position. Number 3 for NASCAR Pone. Number 3 hits the line. Semi-Psycho recovers. Maybe we're gonna build that lineup again now. 63 Chevy Impala for Sweet and Low. The Impala just adds some length to that line of cars. Only 2 eliminations in this round so far. Spider-Man now for Brick House. This could be the opposite of what the second round was like in the last main event. Spider-Man does a little damage. Number 3 is perched on the hood of that Impala. Jalopy sending down Cadillac Coupe DeVille. Spider-Man gets manhandled by the Cadillac, pushed sideways. Number 3 stays alive. We might have our 3rd elimination in the round. Donatello. Donatello causes a bit of commotion, wedges that Cadillac in between his bow staff and the hood of his truck. Spider-Man cannot make a recovery. Chevy Corvette for the Crashers. The Corvette smacks Donatello off the track, and Donatello drags the Cadillac down with him. He is not going off that track without taking that Cadillac. Man, he had him wedged in there pretty good. 2 eliminations on that last hit. 61 Impala. The 61 Impala pushes the Corvette onto the back of the 63 Impala. Impala's teaming up here. Even though they're on different teams, they still like to help a fellow Impala out. Ooh, couldn't help him with that hit though. Robin takes down the 61 Impala, flips it off the track upside down, takes its place behind the Corvette. Formula Special. Formula Special bops Robin to the side, gets it about halfway off the track. And now the Chevy 1500. The Chevy wrestles with the back of Formula Special, and they both end up almost off the track, but not quite enough to be safe. Corvette is hanging on right here. A lot of precarious cars for 99 to do some damage to. 99 gets a lot of action on the track, but no eliminations. All the cars managing to escape to relative safety as 99 lines it up. Chevy Caprice for Sweet and Low. Caprice gets underneath 99, 99 gets underneath the Impala, and it's all just in time for the Greyhound to make a big splash. Huge hit, and another Impala is eliminated. We're running out of Impalas in this match. A lot of these heavier, wider cars are just not doing so well in this particular round. That was a nasty hit from the bus. Ford Fairlane. The Fairlane puts all its force into that bus and a little bit of movement, little penetration up front as the Woody starts to slide sideways and the Corvette is in trouble. Raphael smacks the Ford Fairlane off the track, somehow makes a recovery. I don't know if it has anything to do with that door being open, maybe that helped. Woody slides all the way off the track, knocks the Corvette upside down, but stays upright itself. But that Corvette's done. BMW now, the sole remaining car for the Super Crashers. BMW gets a nice hit on Raphael, and the Ford Fairlane is tossed over upside down. Also looks to me like Formula Special might have been turned upwards a little bit at that and could be eliminated here. Purple Passion for Propulsion. Purple Passion locks it in, and now it's gonna have to watch out for this hit from Shadowjet 2. Shadowjet gets underneath Purple Passion, knocks it up in the air, and Purple Passion makes a pretty decent recovery right there, but it's not over yet. If that BMW doesn't make a recovery, Super Crashers are finished. Custom Dragster. The Dragster knocks Purple Passion for a loop, but look at that recovery by Purple Passion, bouncing and flipping over upright. Custom Dragster not too shabby itself, righting itself on the pile, and those Klingons don't even seem fazed by that car landing right next to them. BMW's got 2 more chances to get righted here. Number 21 is one of them. 21 hits Shadowjet, starts to go under Raphael. The BMW makes a slight recovery. And final car of the round, 17 Ford GT. The Ford slides into the pile, and I think the BMW just made a recovery. Raphael teeters and gets close. I think it's gonna stay alive as well. 10 eliminations on the round. No teams out of it yet, but it is getting very close for a couple of them. Let's take a look at the aftermath. Alabaster only losing 1 in that round. Copperheads did not lose a car. Turtle Power lost 1. Sweet and Low definitely in trouble, lost 2 in that round. NASCAR Pwn still at 4. Propulsion and Brick House each lost 1. At Mobility, to their credit, did not lose a car. Joust and Jalopies and Super Crashers each lost 2. They are down to 1. No teams eliminated yet. 23 cars left in this match. It's going to be a slugfest. I hope you'll come back and watch the finale for it next Sunday. I've created a couple of Junkyard Joust wish lists if you're interested in buying any of the cars off those wish lists for the show. Link in the description. You can check out what I'm looking for. Also, stay tuned. A lot of new events coming up in the new year. Speaking of that, the first Apocalypse match is going to happen in January. Big shout out to Indiana Diecast Racing, who sent me over 50 of the cars from his Death Race series. I really appreciate that, and they are going to be the first ones to compete in the Apocalypse Joust. You might even see one of your cars in that grouping if you were in the Death Race. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time on Junkyard Joust.